Let's get started with Tunison versus Grass. Finals time here. First map is Elysium Amaterasu versus Quetzalcoatl for game number 1. It's a best of 7. Let's jump in onto Elysium. And off we go. Left-hand corner of the map. Bottom left-hand corner of the map. In the red color is Grass playing as Quetzalcoatl. In the top of the map, we have Tunison playing as Amaterasu. Kalpuli Lumber Outpost for Grass, so he does know what he's doing. The livestock pen coming down. It's good to see this. I have to imagine he's played this god. He didn't pick it once through the tournament. So I'm a little worried for him. Every single god he's picked thus far has been an original god. He's picked the Greeks, he's picked the Egyptians, he's picked the Norse, he's picked the Atlanteans. He has not picked the Chinese, he has not picked the Japanese, he has not picked the Aztecs. I think he's picked Freyr. I don't think he's picked Demeter this time. So we'll see how everything goes here. Let's check out the relics on the left-hand corner of the map. Ankh of Ra. Plus 0.06 favor per second there. Once it's in the temple. Always nice. Another relic up onto this side. We have the Oseberg wagon for the caravan move speed. I have this feeling that's not going to be applicable in this game. And we have the I can't pronounce you. Units move faster. 2.5%. Come on, let's give it a try. Ehikaela Kokos. Too hard. One of the best relics in the game at the moment, though. If that one does get spotted, it will definitely get picked up, and you can enjoy that for the rest of the game. And Blue Crystal Shard over here. So Tunison is already going to be ready to get over there and grab that and move forward. I just need to sit down and get like I need to listen to like someone just saying this word like 15 times, I reckon. Maybe I'll get it then. Alrighty. And nonetheless, we've got the Sacred Custodians coming through, and I have to imagine both of these Miko are going to be making their way over to pick up the relics. And that is exactly what is going to be happening here. Gets himself his upgrade, and it is a big advantage, I'd say. Definitely a very large advantage to have at this point. For those of you also wondering, there is a really cool feature in the spectating mode that I haven't really been playing with just yet, but because I feel like it, because we're in this such a beautiful time in the finals, enjoy. This is what it looks like to be a unit in Age of Mythology. This is what it feels like. It's been a while since I've checked this out. Into the main base he's going. Everyone's feeling dizzy, so I'm going to get out of that. Just checking things out. It's all the Kalpulis in for Tunison for Grass at the moment. So he is going to be enjoying all of those. And we do have the Coyotl in from Grass and Minakata Tomi in from Tunison here. Stable coming up for Tunison, and we've also got the one Yudo to come through, and a shrine also getting dropped onto this position with the pickaxe to come through, as Tunison wants a little bit more economy to help him probably build out a bunch of Naginata riders. He's going up for the stable and the guardhouse, though, as Grass on the back will be dropping a noble's hut straight away. And of course, in comes the Shrine of the Hunt. Right onto the front here. Easy to eat these, easy to defend. Gold mine on the back here is also incredibly well defended as the Warrior Priest comes forward and says hello there. As, of course, the Naginata Riders can deal with this. Takes a couple of smacks there as the villagers up onto the top getting beaten up. And for the moment here, you can definitely just turn and get that shank in as the Naginata Rider will chase the Warrior Priest away, and Grass will be down at least one there, if not two going down. So a big advantage to start up here for Tunison. The Kimichin Spy also getting involved. We do have the Shinekwe there. Speaking of which, a bit of a strange angle from Grass. Normally we see Paddock Cattle on in this matchup, but Huawei comes through. And the villagers from Grass just checking out on the bottom side. This Warrior Priest will without doubt die, and the game continues along as it is a market. I have to imagine here that Grass is going to try and get himself to the heroic age. He is building out the Ocelot Warriors. Gayblades is asking, how do the gods actually get picked? Well, there is a tool that gets used such that neither player knows what their opponent is picked beforehand. So they jump in, they use that tool, they both pick their god blind, and then they must play that god for the game. In come the Naginata Riders now, searching for villagers to kill as this wall. Yet again, we see the wall's not going up. Okay, at least he comes through and he tries to build it. The 4 villagers will not be enough there as the Warrior Priest to come over and say, get out of here, Naginata Riders. And the walls will continue to get placed back up, but the Naginata Riders will put a stop to that. Not able to really do anything just here, but it is just purely for distraction action at the moment. It's now the Warrior Priest are kind of stuck onto this position. They have to turn around and take the fight, but Tunison doesn't really want to make that happen just yet. Into the main base now he's going to go. Villagers on the berries, villagers on the backwood, and gold also open. There's also Warrior Priests that are bloodletting. Almost picking off the villager there as the Naginata Riders to pull back, take a lot of damage from the town center, but does get out of there without any deaths. As the heroic age will now come through for Grass. No surprises on his god pick here. With Huawei Coyotl as the god of choice, he gets access to Teponartsli drums, which is a big, unique minor god technology. Extra 10% speed on all of your units. So those Coyote Warriors that Grass wants to build will definitely play a really big role here, moving very, very quickly. In come those Ocelot Warriors, and Tunison, well, he's got to start thinking about where to next. And I think his option is simply just going to be Raijin. Makes a lot of sense. Get yourself the Raiju out. It's a nice answer for the mass of Eagle Warriors that are impending. We'll see if that's going to be the choice for the moment here. No mark. Oh, there is a market. He's not advancing, though. I don't know if this is on purpose or not. Definitely not. As now he clicks up through Raijin, and we'll see where to next. Immediately going to be on the Musha as an answer for the potential Ayatochli. And the Eagle Warriors are on the way. So now it's up to Tunison to be very, very careful and defend. Has managed to catch out an Ocelot Warrior here. Nice find. Every little bit of damage here does matter. Those Ocelot Warriors are 3 population. Very expensive units, so picking one off for free is very nice. Onto the top side. Ocelot Warriors trying to get into the back of Tunison's base. Tunison has got an incredible turtle going on here. And of course, you can try and break through this wall again and hit this food, but it's already gone as Grass will have to be thinking about what to do next. eating herdables. Generally, you want to eat the herdables on the Kalpuli with the livestock pen, but that's not going to be an option for the moment as these Naginata riders get in. It's going to be a dead eagle warrior there, and he's going to be out of there. To the top now. Grass charging in to take out the watchtower, doing what he can to finish that off. On the Musha, on the back, there will be Raiju immediately queued up. Of course, Earth Monster is available, and so too is Lullaby. So a very, very threatening situation here as the Shinobi are actually going to start getting built out for Tunison. He doesn't have any unique upgrades at the moment to help himself out, but losing that front, not the end of the world. Grass is being a little bit careful before he decides to charge forward here. These are, at the moment, naked Shinobi. It's very rare to see those, to be honest. They're a unit that you generally don't see getting built until upgrades are in. And of course, the upgrades are coming through. Hanya Mask on the way. Armory upgrades to boot. More Naginata riders. And the very all-important Raiju. And this unit is going to be very, super important to take out the Eagle Warriors. But how is he going to deal with all those Ocelotl Warriors? There's not like a single samurai here. On the Musha, don't beat the... Excuse me, there is one samurai. He needs more than that. I think that Grass is sort of taken Tunison into a position that he's probably not comfortable in. More Shinobi are coming through as the raids coming on onto the villages, onto the backside. This is huge, though. Lullaby gets dropped. Good choice from Grass. He could have also dropped the Tailwind as in comes onto this position. The Thunderburst. The Raiju drop their special, but miss everything there. The army of Grass will pull out. He's actually sitting still in the Thunderburst on the very last usage there. Lots and lots of low HP units. Very, very dangerous. There's no way to heal these either for the Aztecs unless you've got Okpatli infusions or you've got that Agave Bloom. They will stay very, very, very quiet. They're going to get out there, and Grass does manage to keep himself in one piece as the villagers will pull back into the town center. Moving out onto the front position there as the very injured, very close to death Ocelotl Warriors will try to get in here and take this position out. They can't jump over the wall. They can take the wall out very quick. As Grass clicks onto that specific wall segment to take this out a little bit quicker, but in come the Raiju, and look at this damage onto all of those units. He does get a huge amount of AoE splash. Grass could have gone into spread formation there, and he could have jumped away as well. You can manually jump with these units very easily. Nonetheless, the Naginata riders still looking for villages to pick off. Units sitting back here as Tunison is getting ever so slightly in front. The Naginata riders just headbutt into those units, take a lot of damage. And now Tunison looking like he's ready to take a fight. He's still a ways away from getting his upgrades, but these Raiju, well, they're going to come over onto this side and attempt to get the damage done, but they can come over and pick off the villagers on this left side now that all the units are being caught out. The Raiju coming through. There isn't a wall over here, but there is a defensive position. One villager trying to sacrifice itself. And can he get in there? He does get in for 2 kills as the rest of the villagers are going to be into the Great Temple. Terrifying. No walls up just yet from Grass. All of these raids, incredibly tough to deal with, but the warrior priests are in, and Tunison says, all right, I'm out of here. Now in come Tunison. He says, I can take the fight. Earth Monster does get dropped down. And of course, the Raiju could get hit here. He's charging after the back line. Yet again, doesn't quite get to hit everything. Then he gets eaten up. Some units remaining after all is said and done. And Grass, well, he's going to be able to keep getting this damage done. There's the Solar Shield to come down to keep that Ondamusha alive. Onto the backside comes the Raiju. Still got to be careful because there is no special for just a little bit longer. But does it matter? There's the Raiju moving around onto the backside, and in they come as the Eagle Warriors diving backwards, and Grass will tap out as the first game goes Tunison's way. A nice try from Grass on the Quetzalcoatl, but just didn't have what it takes to deal with this. Needed more walls, maybe a more defensive approach could have been the way to go. What if you're playing against Japan and they go into this real big turtle? It's time to take economy. Get your town centers, get the walls set up. Didn't happen for Grass, and Tunison off to the races in this finals, looking very, very strong. Let's jump over to the draft and see what we're going to pick for the next game. Alrighty, we got ourselves Nuwa versus Poseidon on Blue Lagoon. We did watch a very, very interesting game of Mosca piloting Poseidon, but what Mosca does with Poseidon, I haven't seen many other players able to do. We'll see if Grass has learned from that and if he's going to be able to make something happen here. But he's got his Poseidon and he is up against Nuwa. It's not an easy matchup for either player here. Lots of stuff can go wrong. Lots of stuff can definitely go wrong. Tunison has to be careful about the early game a little bit. Doesn't really have an answer for the early game Atalanta and Theseus. Centaur's less of an issue. I don't hate the idea of Ares here because then you get access to the Prodromus with bonus damage. You can also go Hermes and do the same thing though. You don't get access to the Cyclops, which can be a real big threat early game. That being said, nobody likes Ares but me at the moment, so me saying it probably means it's not going to happen, and we just continue along. Alrighty. On the Nuwa side of things, Vanish to get up a second town center, early Earth Wall, fast advance, all that cool stuff. We could see how it ends up going that way, but I have to imagine you have to start with a military camp first, get yourself some halberdiers out, and there is a world here where a pressure build will get a lot of value for Grass. So Tunison's got to be careful. But then again, rushing up a second town center as Nuwa can be done incredibly quickly, so maybe it's fine. Anyways, Blue Lagoon is the map. 1-0 for Tunison right now as Grass, well, he is off to the races, and we'll see how he's going to go in game number 2. Let's go Blue Lagoon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the left-hand corner of the map in the blue color playing as Nuwa. It is Tunison, and we have Grass playing as Poseidon. 1-0 for Tunison as he does get off to the races in a very solid fashion. Grass now on his Poseidon, which I haven't seen him playing just yet. Poseidon's always going to be a god that has got outplay potential. You got fast Hippias. You got, are they cheap Hippias? I'm remembering Legacy. You got fast Hippias, you got fast Centaur, you got fast Myth Unit, you just got fast everything. Fast Second Age Hero as well. So Grass is going to be looking to get that advantage in the outplay side of things. Relics on the map, Girdle for Polita. Ranged soldiers, hit points plus 10%. Also got over onto this side, the Eye of Horus, which is plus 4 for the population cap. Over onto this side, we have Svadilfari Sledge, making those fortress-like buildings cost 0 favor. And finally, Anvil for Phaistos at the top. Big relic there, actually, for Tunison, because that gives him some play to sort of catch up and make sure that he's not going to fall behind a Forge of Olympus, an early Forge of Olympus play. Temple now coming down for Grass, as on the left side, we've got Huafu Chieftain coming through for Tunison. So he wants that early economy. He still hasn't got himself down a temple, so he might be going for 3 Huafu. But 3 Huafu versus Poseidon seems a little on the risky side, because surely Grass is going to be advancing after this next villager pops out. It's going to be a 3:30-ish, 3:34. I can't remember what the actual time is. Is it 3:34 or 3:35? 3:33? 3:34. There you go. Got it right. As the Theseus comes down, he's going to be running across the map. I have to imagine it's going to be an early stable here from Grass for early game pressure. Town center situation. There is Zebra, or there are Zebra. Gold mine on the front. Rhino over here with a somewhat aggressively placed earth wall. For example, just here. He can get all 3 of those and be very, very safe. But he's probably going to get those knocked down right away otherwise. Meanwhile, walls coming up. Villagers on the back as the Katoska boss comes in to check things out. It will be Howl 2, so no Vanish plays. As the Katoska boss just getting... That's a lot of value there from said Katoska boss, just smacking the Huafu a little bit. Well, we'll see how it's going to go, but I don't think that Tunison can go for a fast town center here. I think he's got to think a little bit differently. Some Pioneers, some Halberdier. That's going to be very important. That being said, maybe there's a world where you can drop the earth wall onto this house and then go for the town center. Maybe that works. I don't know. He's not moving on to the gold mine just yet, so not sure. He's about to have the gold. Like, for example, if he goes like this, he can have the villagers looking very safe here, but he has to drop it basically straight away. But that also means that he doesn't have the safety on the food or the gold. As in comes the house, in comes the settlement, in comes the Katoska boss to check things out, and there goes the earth wall as everything... That's a beautiful earth wall, actually, from Tunison. Stable coming up from Grass, and it's looking like the boom for Tunison is well and truly on the way. Now, I think if you want to, like, try and put a stop to this, forward temple Ares, of course, you have to, like, make sure that the temple is safe, but a forward temple Ares, you can get in and knock those walls down immediately. Anyways, temple or town center up for Tunison. Villagers making their way out over onto this side as the Huafu hero is going to feel somewhat comfortable sitting out of his map. One Cheongchi causing some problems over here as the heroes for... Oops, what am I doing? Heroes for Grass are where? Atalanta in. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a dead Cheongchi. You can't get in anymore. This unit has been... I would say this unit's rating potential against Greek has been absolutely gutted. It's not a unit you want to even send in versus Greek unless you see where their heroes are. It's kind of like sending in a Valkyrie to raid. You wait to see the heroes out of position. You have the unit off onto the side. And then you go, great, they're left. Let's go and get some villager kills. But rushing in straight away, nah, you're not gonna get value there very often. Up onto the top side, Atalanta and the Centaur will spot the villager here. That's going to be a dead one. Nice spot there from Grass. Every little bit of damage here is going to matter because he's now just gone onto the second town center. And he's going to look for basically any pressure he can. But while this is going on, I love this play from Tunison. He just walks forward and walls everything. He sees the units over here. He says, fantastic. Come at me. This is fine. One little cheeky villager over here could get sniped, but Grass is now out of there. Pioneer coming up onto this side as well. Does Tunison know he's up against the second town center? The answer is no, but he might try to get forward and send a balloon over here just to confirm it. It's the double villagers to come through. A little bit of damage onto that. Hippias there is no amount of micro, I think, is going to be able to win that one. The walls are up. One Hippias down. Center gets picked off. Atalanta trying to do what she can do. She can come out the top and get out this way, but maybe taking out a villager or something wouldn't be a terrible idea. As she gets in onto the unbuilt wall. And she's out of there, but after all is said and done, villager differential favors Tunison. Defense is set up, and the rest of this map as well is going to look to get walled up immediately. Walls for Grass as well. He learned from last game. Says, I'm not going to get beaten up by these raids. No, sir. As a heroic age will be on the way shortly for Grass. I have to imagine he's going to go through Dionysus. Of course, Gormang will also come through for Tunison. As the Halberdiers are over here and does get spotted by the Atalanta. Think that the Atalanta will not win this fight. And Kwafu is one big boy. And plenty more units up onto the top here as well. As how, why, and where? What is this decision from Grass? Charges forward onto the elephant. He's got sent packing. He's not going to lose a huge amount of villagers, but that is a big loss on income. He has Hunt over here. He's got berries over here. Just send the villagers off to the other side. It's a wild decision from Grass. Tunison makes him pay, but some revenge fire in as the Halberdiers get on top of the Atalanta to take that one down. And the walls on this side now are complete. So raiding Tunison is going to be really, really hard. Dionysus. Aphrodite for a second there was having me scratch my head. Dionysus to come through. It is basically a cavalry war in this matchup, right? You've got White Horse Cav on the Tunison side with Gormang plus Nuwa. So Nuwa gives plus 10% HP. Gormang gives a technology that boosts those White Horse Cav. Poseidon has got the fastest speed on his Cav. He's got Spirited Charge from Hermes, and he's got Thracian Horses from Dionysus. And then the final boost for Nuwa, when you get to the Mythic Ages, going through Gong Gong, which gives you access to super strong Tiger Cav, which will then beat the Poseidon Hippias. That being said, the Poseidon, what are they called? Prodromus are also quite strong where that's concerned. To the top here, Rhinoceros gets taken down. Armory up for Tunison there. And we will be seeing Spirited Charge coming through. Dionysus as well to come in. Tunison is yet again going to check out this hunt. Just make sure that Grass isn't up to no good. It's just full walls. I mean, this is the thing. If you're going to go into Cav, full walls, very important. Or if you know your opponent's going to go into Cav in the heroic age, full walls, very important. Otherwise, you just get blown off the map. You'll also probably notice that all the economic upgrades are going to come through very quick. Look at the resources for Tunison. I wouldn't be surprised if he slaps down a ballet and just goes Mythic Age here. He could sell some... He doesn't even need to. He can just go Mythic Age. Gormang in. Will it be Gong Gong? Or not is the big question. Because what can Grass do really here to smack back? And there goes the Gong Gong. So 2 TC, fast Mythic. I think it's the first time I've seen this one in this tournament. It's been... it's not really been on the menu recently, but both players decided to go into a really big defensive boom war. Makes some sense. In comes the incredibly powerful, strong, vibrant land. Also shaft mine. Tunison is going as hard on the economy as he possibly can. In come the Prodromus. Halberdier. White Horse Cav for the moment. Can definitely go into Tiger Cav. So the Thracian horses to come through from grass. Villagers for grass going to be wandering forward as well. Going to be grabbing that middle granary and seeing how things go. Over to this side. The grass villager has put some walls down, and Tunison will spot this. 3 cav get through, but they're going to get walled in here, and in come the 6.9 speed Prodromus, which will put a stop to those White Horse Cavalry very, very quickly. Surely. I mean, I think they will. But at the moment, these sort of raids are mostly just about distracting, because all Tunison wants here is nothing but Tiger Cav. Tiger Cav and apparently Halberdiers. He is making some fire archers, but it's all about the Tiger Cav as fast as he possibly can. 1 ballet, no upgrades. Well, heavy cav is on the way, but no upgrades really. As the White Horse Cav are going to be cleaned up. And behind this, you have to ask the question, why, if Grass isn't going to be looking for an actual attack here, why is he not gone 3 town centers or Mythic Age himself? Spamming units generally doesn't do a whole lot if you just sit there with them. Now, going for a Death Ball is kind of different from just spamming units, but this doesn't look like a Death Ball to me. Death Balls consist of really expensive units like Hydras, Centaurs. Hippias are technically expensive, but not that expensive. Another ballet coming up. The upgrades are coming through. Hooves of the Wind, Last Stand, Irrigation, Bowsword, Chasing the Sun also on the way. It's copper armor, copper shields to come through. Still full teching here from Tunison. He is just happily saying, if you want to sit back and not attack me, I will go as greedy as I possibly can on as many upgrades as I possibly can. And now incoming are the heavy Tiger Cav. Tunison as well. Farm situation. Still got a long way to go. 20 farms have been bought. When you're playing this style of China, you need 50. So he's still got a ways to go. Bimblot, thanks for the bits, my friend. Appreciate all the support from everyone. I know there's people subscribing and sending love. Appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Grass going to pull back. We see a fortress coming up on this position for Grass as well. He definitely wants his Mythic Age. The ordering of everything here, of course, he's going to be able to shut down a lot of what Tunison wants to do. But Tunison's, he's at 130 pop. He's getting himself farms. He's getting himself upgrades. And this is just looking really good for Tunison. In comes Li Jing, in comes the heavy Tiger Cav. But this is kind of what Grass is going to be wanting. He's got himself out an army. Tunison throwing away these units here is not going to be good for him. As all of those Hippias coming around onto the backside, and we will see the Great Flood getting dropped down as that fortress might be getting cleaned up here. Is there enough stuff, though, for Tunison? He's still pumping out those Tiger Cav. There are a bunch of militia there to help out, to take everything else down. But the Hippias just lose to the Tiger Cav as ceasefire will get dropped. Everything about this these decisions from Grass has been very confusing to me. Fully walled up Noir. Just take map yourself, take town centers yourself, or go Mythic Age. Spamming units at someone playing a turtle is generally the wrong play. try and stay away from that. Try and get as much stuff as you possibly can. Much tech as you possibly can. Tech beats turtle. This is the general rule. Well, it's eco beats turtle. Turtle means I don't die to units. The general rule, right? And it's not always the case, but still. Ballet up in the middle for Tunison. Huge advantage for him at the moment, but Hephaestus will be a big power spike for Grass to try and bring himself back in the game. He's also got himself bronze. Now the main base under attack. Still not quite enough farms for Tunison, but he is on the way. Plenty of positions to just go farm, farm, farm. Get them all down. What is he up to? 38. As in comes the Mythic Age for Grass, and Tunison says, great, let me charge in here and just kill everything. Up onto this side, finding underneath the tower, underneath the town center. But versus majority, Hippias. There are Prodromus in here as well. It's going to be a tough fight, actually, for Tunison to win, and he probably should be considering running, of which he will do. So he's out of here. There's more units to come through. The upgrades on the way for Grass. He's only got 2 armories in, which slows him down quite a bit. Not only that, he's got all 3 queued into the same armory, which is not ideal. Town center over on this side, claimed. Another gold mine on this side, about to be claimed. And in comes those Tiger Cav trying to do everything yet again. It's still a long way until the Grass army has its upgrade. I don't know why Grass is trying to force the fights here. He hasn't hit his Hephaestus power spike just yet. He's missing Iron Mail, Iron Weapons. He's missing Champion. Of course, Tunison on the other side. He's going up to Iron Mail anyways. Grass has just got so long to go to catch up here. Tiger Cav going to break through this front over here. Over onto this side. Villagers getting picked off. And I think this is going to be a quick 2-0 lead for Tunison in this best of 7. First to 4. Grass trying to push back. But I don't even think he wins this fight, let alone deal with what's going on over on the right side. Now the iron is coming in, though. There's a glimpse of hope for Grass. But he still doesn't have champion upgrades. As Halberdier and Tiger Cav still coming through. There are 44 villagers on farms right now, which is almost how much Tunison needs to be able to keep this spam going non-stop. And Grass taps out as game 2 goes to Tunison. Very dominating play thus far. Grass did not have the read on what to do in this situation, I think. He's just spammed out raiders, right? Cavalry are mostly about raiding and mostly about picking off villagers. I think if he tried to threaten to break through the walls, and tried to threaten to get in onto this position here, even though there was a forest protection here, there was still potential to take out this ballet, take out all this stuff. He probably could have done something. But he just spammed units and kind of looked a little bit lost on what to do with them. And that allowed Tunison to get off his 2TC fast mythic. Again, I haven't seen anyone really being able to make this type of strategy work or even attempting it recently. So maybe that's what caught Grass off. It's just not something that's been done in recent memory. Tunison gets away with it. Game 2 in the books. Tunison up 2-0. let's jump in and see what the third matchup is going to be. Let's check out the draft. All right, our next matchup is going to be a Set versus Uranus on the map Giza. I have a question in chat that I would like to answer. Is China just broken? If in that specific game, Tunison went for 190 pop in Halberdier and White Horse Cav and sat there while Grass went for a fast Mythic Hephaestus, I almost guarantee that the Poseidon would win that. So, is China broken? Answer is no. Looks broken because the strategy that Grass took didn't do anything. That's my take. Our next matchup now, though, we got to focus on that. Tunison, he's up against his main god, Uranus. He's on Set. Not an easy matchup for Set in the slightest, but he does know Uranus. So we'll see if he's going to be able to take it out. Let's get into Giza and check out what's going to happen. So races go in the left-hand corner of the map. Tunison playing as Set. In the right-hand corner of the map, Grass playing as Uranus. It's 2-0. Grass had the 2-0 lead in his semifinals, and now he is finding himself 0-2 in the finals. The hard part about this whole thing is you get close, you touch it, and then you have to do it all again. We have 5 tournaments throughout July and the first weekend of August to find our 5 champions to send to Greece to meet the already 3 crown champions of S-tier tournaments of Age of Mythology. Mr. Kavoth, Rappel. They're already there. Recon won last week. That was tournament number 1. Grass and Tunison right now, well, one of these guys will be in Greece. At the moment, Tunison, he is 2 wins away. Grass is 4. Then, next week, we do it again. The week after that, we do it again. And the week after that, for one last rodeo, one last howdy do, we do it again. So, if you guys haven't already, book out the rest of your weekends. Book out the rest of your weekdays. And tune in during the weekdays as well, because we're going to be doing those casts. The map here is Giza. Gold mine situation. It's not bad. Not bad here at all for Tunison to go for a second town center. Double rhinoceros, and you're playing Set. Back gold mine. I like this map here for Tunison quite a bit. But it is Uranus, and Uranus is really good versus Egyptian just in general. So we'll see what Grass is going to be able to come up with. Especially because, you know, he is very, very good at this god. But that being said, I've only really ever seen him spamming Murmillos, which doesn't On paper, doesn't sound like it's going to really work out too well versus the set, though. If you go into Murmillos right away, that forces out Axeman, which then allows you to make yourself Satyrs and Chaos Spam. Can be the right way to go. Alrighty, we got ourselves the Dark coming in from Tunison. And on the right side, we got the Oceanus coming through for Grass. There's a couple of military barracks coming up on this top side. Relic gets dropped off from Grass, Rhea's Crown. And a couple more goats coming in. So Dar versus Oceanus. And Murmillo spammage will start. Clairvoyance on the way for Tunison. As the Wadget pops out. And Rhinos, Animals of Set coming through. It doesn't look like it's a fast second town center, actually. From Tunison. He drops the vision down, sees what's happening in this main base. He could go for a Shifting Sands, but it's a little bit on the risky side. Is he going for a fast heroic? Barracks on the way, so maybe, yes, no. He's going to spam out and play a one town center classical game. So full barrack spam, a little bit slow to start with. But there's not really much that he needs to defend because he can sit in his main base, getting himself out of Monument to the Soldiers as well, just to make sure that all of his barracks are getting hit. And the Murmillos charging down onto this position just to make sure there's no town center from Tunison. But to be honest, these sort of strats from the set, I don't know how good they are. It's tough to make them work because you're going to play Sky Passage shenanigans, you're going to be able to get to the heroic age, and then there should be some problems that arise from those satyrs, but we'll see if it's going to work out here. You can always make things happen as the Murmillos charging forward, Axeman in, Galadriel gets the heal, and the Murmillos will be out of there. On the backside, Grass just stops making units completely for the moment. And he is going for a town center. That there is not something I would be expecting. Sky Passage gets dropped down. Is that not just a wild decision from Grass? This is like those ideas of a pressure build into a town center, but with Aranos. Up to the top side, Priest does get spotted as the Murmillos will chase that down, and a vision gets dropped down. Just barely misses the town center. All the units are not spotted as well. He doesn't see any units getting trained, which might give him a little bit of an inkling of what's going on. But he has to make a guess here because that vision did not work out for him. Now Grass's town center is up. And, well, he does have himself the Rhino. 2 Rhinos on the town center. But the big problem here, and I don't know if I like it, is that he's going to give up full map control. And giving up full map control as a Rhinos means you don't get to use the main bonus that you've got. As the unit's charging forward here, Grass not paying attention. Shockwave forced out as the citizens trying to get out of here. They do get through the manor. They're going to get brought back home. And potentially jump onto the goats and see what happens there. There isn't an economic guild just yet, but now it's going to get dropped down. He doesn't have to go to the goats. He can go this Sky Passage and jump onto the Rhinoceros if he wants. This one Murmillo holding on to Tusk of Dankang here. Going to bring that back. And Karabalista will start to come through. As an Oracle gets sniped, and Tunison is shown the town center on this side. But scary moments ahead. And the Caraballas to come out. Need to make yourself a counter to those. We'll see if that's going to go into the Slingers. Slingers do counter the Caraballas pretty well. But not the best versus Shockwave, Carnivora, and Sky Passage defense, which is kind of all Grass needs to do. Sky Passage over onto this side. If this was Kavoth, he would have taken all these citizens off of this Sky Passage and taken the gold mine for sure. As the Spearman charging down onto this position. And Grass, he is in with the Sky Passage shenanigans. Takes out one unit there. The rest do manage to get out of there. And behind this, the scary thing for Tunison is, one, he can't really attack here at the moment. He's going to try, but he just gets hit by the Sky Passage with those Caraballas non-stop. Grass doesn't need really more than 2 Caraballas here to hold everything. Not really. Oh, villagers getting spotted over onto this side, though. Will it be a dead villager? I think it will be one, as the units come out trying to get some revenge fire, not able to do so. But what Grass wants here is to just go to the heroic age. He doesn't, like I said, he doesn't need any more Caraballas stuff. So you force out all of these slingers by building a handful, or just literally 2 or 3 Caraballister, and then all of a sudden the Caraballister aren't even the unit to be that's a threat. It's Satyr. Vision getting dropped down up to the top, just making sure that there's nothing going on over there, as the Spearmen are going to be searching for oracles to take out. Of course, Grass can't really afford to lose those at the moment, as the Slinger's in onto this side. Going to dive into his Sky Passage and try and hold on. These little bits of damage to come through. Realistically, taking out the temple would be a really big deal. For the villagers, they can just move out onto this gold mine. Grass is 110% correct here. Meanwhile, up to the top side, Mamillos will come through, chasing those spearmen off. They kind of have the speed advantage, but not really. Problem for Grass is that he's down to only 2 oracles. He should have one just in his main base, but nonetheless, in come the Satyr, in comes the Pain Train, and Tunison not able to kill off the temple. We will be seeing Gemini coming through as the Caraballister will garrison into that Sky Passage. Realistically, the only god that can do this is Uranos. Sky Passage is the only building that you can garrison a Caraballister into. Up onto the top side. Spearman coming in yet again, trying to hit the villagers, but Grass on the defense. Looking very, very good. That's the Caladria going down here as well. Does tank for ages, but we'll get out of there, no problems. And in comes Contarius, in comes Satyr. And of course, if Grass can simply just get himself out enough units here, he is going to be in a fantastic spot. He doesn't have to do much. Once this army hits 175 pop, once Grass hits 190 pop, it's going to be very tough for Tunison to be winning a fight. In comes the Citadel for Tunison. Of course, there is the Shifting Sands for Scarabs. Scarab all in here feels like a really good idea. But the problem with that is there's chaos. There's all these Satyrs. Only having 2 oracles at the moment. For only having 2 oracles at the moment, the fact that there are out 4 Satyrs coming in more is very scary. Grass, however, looking like he wants to take a fight. I'm talking about waiting until you get up to that full population. It's not happening. Huge damage coming from the Satyrs there as the Caraballister micro looking very, very nice. Pulling back there as the Slingers darting back and forth. Of course, there will be the Chaos, and that is exactly what's going to go in. There goes the Carnivora as the units will Shifting Sands away. Tunison will live another day. He's onto the bottom side there, though, with that shifting sands. He gets a villager pick for it. But back into the main base for those villagers, no problems. Another sky passage. Can probably go over onto this gold mine. And at this stage, like, just get out another oracle, please. All the units are going to get healed up. Now no shifting sands for the Scarab to get in and get any real damage done. What's the army looking like for Tunison, though? Mostly spearmen. Slinger. Versus mostly Contarius. Mostly Contarius. Satyr does manage to catch the units out in the middle of the map. Trying to take out the Scarab with the big special attacks from the Satyrs. The units over here from Tunison looking to get somewhat of a sandwich in. But even if he manages to do so, this is still a gigantic Uranus army. As the Scarab dies, gets a big amount of damage done onto all those Contarius here. As the units for Tunison, they are stuck here. But who is stuck? Is it stuck in with me, or am I stuck in with you? As the Contarius diving in onto this position. Priests will take out one Satyr over onto this side. Nice try on the control there from Grass. How many more units can survive here as the Wadget on the back goes down? The Contarius still alive here as well. Satyr is dodging back over onto this side as he does manage to stay alive. The Contarius are ending up falling. As the Satyrs doing what they can do, but he's going to be pulling back for the time being. And it looks like somewhat of an equal fight after all is said and done. But if you go and get an equal fight, and you are one town center versus two, well, that just means you're behind. Second town center coming up from Tunison now as an attempt to bring this game back. Spearmen over onto this side. We're going to take out the villagers. 3 spearmen there. Might be able to take out 1 citizen, but the palace will be up afterwards. If the units come over here. Oh, 2 citizen going down there. Over onto this side. More raids coming in as Grass does need to wake up to that. Up onto this side. The Scarab's coming through. Got to dive into that sky passage. He doesn't do it. Units up over here, though. Bit of a overreaction from Grass. Lots of resources in the bank for the time being as the citizens will bail out on this spot. Not enough favor to actually deal with this. And this is some much needed damage from Tunison. Grass with no armory upgrades as well is probably why he lost that fight. But what can you do? Over onto this side, we got the spearmen. Checking out the villagers over here as the spy does get dropped down. Looking up onto this side. As there goes the shifting sands trying to catch Grass out. Grass, a little bit late on the reaction yet again, but into the sky passage he goes. These citizens can kind of dive away. He's got the sky passage in the main base, finishes up his gold mine. And in comes the units, though. Murmillo's in to try and deal with all of this. No real Satyr presence anymore. The Contarius need to come in onto the back here as there goes the shockwave from Grass. Taking this fight at the moment. Not looking super crash up for him. Citizens at the top getting pulled back, but now Tunison with nothing left but Slinger. And they will all fall to the rest of what Grass's army has here. Scarab goes down. Citizens making their way over here. But Tunison has done damage. Grass has kind of gotten outplayed in a big way over the past couple of minutes in this game. And he has fallen from an overwhelming advantage in the economy to being incredibly close in this game. Check out the economic upgrades for Tunison. He's got himself everything that he needs with Shaft Mine. Doesn't have Plow. Probably should grab it because he's got a farmer. Just the one farm though. On the other side, Economic Guild. Now we see Shaft Mine. But the big problem for Grass is actually just he doesn't have oracles. And that's credit to Tunison for keeping him back from that. Now the second town center coming back up for grass. And Tunison will swing down to the bottom side. There is already a Migdol stronghold up for Tunison. Sorry, grass will swing down to the bottom side. There is a Migdol already up for Tunison. But still somewhat of an issue to defend here as his units aren't close by. Grass charges forward. We'll be throwing away a couple of units here to the Migdol stronghold, but picks off the camel riders nonetheless. So they're going to have to garrison in. So try and take out the Pharaoh as the rest of the units will garrison into the position as the Contarius will probably need to bail away from this position. Spearmen on the way back here as Grass will notice that and say, okay, I'm out of here. Sky Passage coming down onto this side could be good as Tunison, well, he's on 3 town centers. Spearmen making their way up to the top side. The citizens might get greeted here. Depends on if he's paying attention to those spearmen or not. And it looks like he's not. So, sneaky Sky Passage is in. And comes the Contarius to take out the Pharaoh as those camel riders going to get sniped down. Behind this, there is a Horus pre-queued as the Sky Passage is in. Where did the units go for grass? I thought the plan was to send those destroyers through the Sky Passage and hit this position. Not happening just yet, though. Town Center 3 coming up for grass. Axemen on the way. Got to be careful here. I do think that some destroyers through this Sky Passage. He's got a lot of them, actually. He's got 6. He could easily take out the town center on the top side. Does he know about it? He has no idea. Pulling back into the Sky Passage. The units aren't really close by to help out. Spearmen and Camel Riders in for Tunison is a pretty strong army to deal with this, but he doesn't have a whole lot of stuff remaining as this Sky Passage does end up going down, and Tunison will get his walls up, trying to stop the aggressive expansion, so to speak. But while that's going on, the units will pull back, and now the bottom Migdol will be under attack. Lots and lots of units in for grass, but the Mythic Age is looking like it's about to come through for Tunison. Contarius not getting pulled to try and take these villages out. He needs to get as many of these as he possibly can. There is a shockwave available, but don't really want to spend 35 favor on that. Behind all of this as well, surely a Mythic Age from Tunison wouldn't be a terrible idea, but trying to take out the town center, all the units are sitting back waiting, watching, and Horus is going to be in very, very shortly. Ra's going to pull back for the time being. He's also going to the Mythic Age through Hecate. This is where this game gets very, very scary for the Iranos. See what he's going to be able to make happen, but not a single myth unit here, not a single extra oracle from grass is really making me scratch my head. Up onto the top side, a little bit of a raid to try and hit this, but there's already the Migdol stronghold in. Is Tunison going to pull back for the time being? Up here, the raid's hit. Migdol stronghold taking down. It's this big tornado that's about to get dropped down onto Grass's face here. We'll see what he's going to be able to do after that, but it's going to be painful. There's also going to be a potential for, I guess, Tartarian Gate into the main base. The units moving away in onto this spot. You can't tornado because then the units garrison into the town center. Not exactly what you want. Camel Rider's going to look for their own raids as the Destroyer's coming in onto this spot, taking out villagers here. Tunison out of position. Of course, you can just keep going left, right, as now Grass will say, let me go out to the town center on the bottom side. Villagers pop out here, trying to get that repair, and there's one Avenger to come through. Is that going to be enough as the stream of units moving across the map from Tunison? Migdol's stronghold here is going to be taken down. But what does that matter? Well, it matters because on the bottom side, damage is going to be coming through. It matters because into the main base, a Tartarian gate is going to be getting dropped. Camel Riders coming up onto this position as the double palace there for the protection. Should be enough. Still not dropping that Tartarian gate. Oh, no, there he goes. I say still not dropping the Tartarian gate. Only hits the Mythic Age now. While this is going on, town center on the bottom side under attack. Axeman going to try and come through and deal with that. I don't know why, but Grass is missing a house here, I think. He's got 8, so he's building it. House is up. Will this town center go down or not? Will the main base be able to defend all of this or not is the other question. As the Camel Riders charging forward. Grass not paying attention here. He almost needed to pull back. Loses everything on this push. Of course, while that's going on, there will be damage into the main base, but there's no villagers here. This Tartarian gate isn't really doing anything substantial at the moment. He could have dropped it at the top of the map and hit this villagers off the farms, hit the villagers off the gold mine. But instead into the main base where you'd expect the majority of damage to happen, but it's just not. That being said, Tunison's Citadel Center is getting cleaned up. Big moments for Tunison though. He's got himself the big upgrades, and greatest of 50 is going to be on the way shortly. Up to the top side now, though. Grass will say, okay, we go for this town center, but an attempt from Tunison to hit this town center is going to be somewhat difficult to deal with. Of course, if you send a citizen up here, drop a sky passage, you can kind of be down to the bottom here in a jiffy as well. There's no shifting sands available, no favor where that's concerned. As the top town center for Tunison under attack. Meanwhile, catapults are in. Axemen getting taken down. They do have their bonus damage versus buildings and a catapult there as the front position gets taken down. Gold mine exposed. Town center over here will be cleaned up. Onto the bottom side here as well now. The spearmen coming through, going to be dealing with all of that. And Grass looks like he is making some groundwork here in this game. The Tartarian gate is now finished. Town center didn't fall. 185 HP on the Citadel though. Does Grass spot that? I think he does. He is coming in with all of these red destroyers. He is starting to repair it up, but is this going to be enough? I don't think so. I think the Citadel Center is going to be taken out. Grass doesn't click onto the Citadel Center. What's happening here? Now, still not noticing it. Onto this side, though, he's hitting the Migdol stronghold. The Citadel Center somehow living. I mean, it's just an extra 10 population. It's kind of a big deal. Destroyers coming around. Grass still not paying attention here. Getting raided over onto this side by the Spearmen of Tunison. Contarius coming through onto this bottom position. Destroyers still not attacking the town center. They could have killed it several times over here. Palace up to the top. Sky Pass is coming down. Tunison getting this town center back up. Villagers pushed off of the gold mine. There's still some gold in the bank for Grass. Not much gold for, well, some for gold. There's gold for both players as the Destroyers do die and the Citadel Center lives. Are you kidding me? What a blunder from Grass. Siege works getting taken down. Slingers. Yet again, back out. And there goes the tornado. But, well, Grass here, he kind of has to run out of it. There's not many units there. That's a very low value tornado. I mean, in hindsight, why not just drop it onto the Tartarian gate in that situation? Up onto the top side, we do see the markets coming up. Siege works coming down. Gold mine check. 3,000 gold, 6,000 gold. There's plenty of gold mines left on this map. Trade is not super important for Grass, but it is Very important for Tunison. Because you lose gold way faster as Egyptian than anyone else. As now the Fanatics coming through to help out. The Kontari is taking everything else out. Tunison can move back up onto this gold mine, but he now doesn't have much gold remaining. Grass in complete control of this game for the moment, but he's got to be careful. You can always throw these situations if you're not too careful. Palace coming up onto this left side to secure this gold mine. Tunison has pre-queued out or looped or auto-queued out camel caravans, and he doesn't have the food to even support anything else. And after a 29-minute slog, Uranos comes out on top, and the slinger is 0, and Boit is 1. Well, Grass has got to feel happy about that, but that was not a simple win. I feel like if he had taken this fight, the very first fight that he lost, should have been a win for him. We take a quick look at the military resource diff here. This should have been a win for Grass, but he just didn't have armory upgrades on that fight, and Tunison did. And that was kind of all that mattered on that fight. And if you lose that fight instead of kind of go equalish, then, well, the game is basically done on that moment. We would be already into game 4. But a well-played game from Grass. As he's now on the board, can have that sigh of relief. He's still got it. Tunison is not unbeatable. I mean, he has been unbeatable today up until that point. He is on a bit of a tear, but we'll see if he can shake off this loss and get the next game going. We'll see how it goes. Alrighty, we got ourselves a classic matchup. We've seen this one a handful of times. We've seen it go a handful of different ways. But Mirage is the map. And it is going to be Kronos versus Zeus. Kronos versus Zeus. We've seen it a couple of times. The dock time shift is part of the game plan. We saw Magic have a bit of a unique approach to this one, where he was going down the line of villager fighting, to just put it bluntly. I don't think we're going to see that from Grass. Don't think we're going to see that from Grass. Grass has still got some of his power picks remaining in this draft, so he does need to get another win on the board to sort of guarantee that he's going to have a chance to use those. Thor and Odin are probably the two gods that Grass really wants to find wins with. Of course, Hades is there. He's played a good Hades. Of course, Isis is there. He hasn't played Isis yet, but he did play a good set. But Kronos versus Zeus is the matchup in front of him. It's a best of 7, first to 4. Person who wins goes to Athens. The person who loses backs up next week and does it all again. Let's jump into Mirage and see if Grass can bring it back to level or if Tunison will go one win from being a champion. Let's get into Mirage. And off to the races we go. On the left-hand corner of the map, we've got Grass playing as Zeus. And in the right-hand corner of the map, we've got Tunison playing as Kronos. So, 3-1. Not 3-1. 2-1. Grass hits back, so it's 2-1 right now. Tunison had not lost a game today up until then. He was looking dominating every step of the way. But Grass put a little bit of a stunt in his step. Showed him the Uranos, took him out, took him 30 minutes of very, very difficult gameplay, but he did manage to make it happen. Now, Tunison has the Atlantean. Grass has got Zeus, which probably is a pretty good matchup for Zeus on a land map. On a water map, it's less simple. Grass is searching for the Oracle to bolt. We've got the Oracle already on the backside from Tunison. You do want to bolt that one, for sure. Let's check out the relics and see if there's going to be anything impactful. We've got the Ship of Fingernails here, which is food trickle rate plus 0.5. Over onto this side, we've got the Houris hunting bow, plus 5% there for the huntables. Not the most of importance on this map, but still. Belt of Argus over here for some unit line of sight. I've seen that relic win games before. What was the game? I think it was Soup versus Mosca, Odin versus Amaterasu. We got so much value out of that relic. Hestia's Hearth here as well for the villagers. Train time minus 5% is always nice. And we do see a really, really good second town center. Back gold mine, back hunt, living the dream. There's also a decent gold town center on the front with gold mines here, gold mine here, and rhino here. So final fishing ship coming out for Grass, and the fish is already in. Oh, one more for Tunison, and the Prometheus is now on the way. This is a fast advance. Tunison did cut villages for this advance. 9 villages for a 3:30 advance time is cutting villages. I think you can go, is it 10? They take 28 seconds. I think 10 seconds later, and I would have had an extra citizen, so we definitely cut something. As the dock going over, and that there is a pretty big giveaway what's going on. You see the dock time shift and you go, oh, okay. Fair enough. The other thing here that Tunison hasn't really done is he didn't put the mana up onto this side, so he's not getting himself that boosted build rate from having his mana. It's not a crazy amount of boost, but it is definitely something. But one dock down. Jason searching, trying to figure out where it is, but doesn't go all the way to the edge. Tunison is right on that edge. He is ready to go. I mean, you already know what's happening, and the fishing ship does come over here, spots that, and goes, okay, I see. Now, what's the game plan on the side of Grass? Well, the game plan is 3 docks and a dream here. What Tunison's done is really nice as well. He's built his walls. He's nice and defensive. It's going to be hard to put pressure on. As a fire ship comes out, immediately Trireme and Juggernaut on the way for Grass, as Tunison will start the aggro situation right now. Deconstruction will come down, but there's already 2 docks here, and I don't think Grass wants a 3rd one, so it's kind of an advantage for the Grass, as he probably wants to drop down a couple of military academies as well. Promethean's getting pushed back. Will we see a town center behind this is the big question from Tunison. Realistically, all Tunison wants from this is an overcommitment on the water from Grass. There's the Pentacontas coming through, that Trireme trying to dodge out onto the way back. Do these guys start with the ballistics? I don't know. Maybe they do. should be able to do some juking left and right there to dodge some of the damage. But nonetheless, Doc's now actually getting time shifted back because Tunison says, no, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And he might go over onto the other side, but that was a pretty hard shutdown by Grass. Now the Heracles moving across the map. And I have to imagine it's going to be town center angles for Grass, but he drops a military academy. And we will see Rhea coming through as another military academy comes down. Nope, there's the town center on the way on the right side as the man is getting converted or time shifted in. Heracles is going to be a ways away from this. I don't think you're going to be denying this town center anytime soon. There will be a little bit of pressure coming on, so that's got to feel somewhat good. As the citizens back to their job. 10 seconds remaining after the mana comes down as the Valor gets dropped down. We've also got the Murmillo on the way. It's definitely not going to be a fast heroic here from Tunison. Town center first. It's just pre-queued for later. And Grass says this town center? I thought the better one was on the back side. If you take a look just over there, just there, you'll see what the best of is. Meanwhile, Market, Armory coming up for Grass onto this side as well. And those hoplites will wander back over here. Grass finishes his town center. Onto this top side. Citizens putting the mana up. And I guess the next move here from Grass is just to get to the Heroic Age, make himself into a very, very strong Heroic Age Zeus with bronze and look to charge. Now, one idea here from Zeus, which I really like on this map, even versus Rhea, I think this is a good idea, is to actually go into Hydra. Because you get the boosted food gather rate, you have the boosted favor generation. The Prometheans picking off a villager. That does hurt, as this villager over here is going to get caught out. Well, a little bit of a missed movement there from Tunison allows Grass back into the tower. But some sort of a full send on food. Hydra, Murmillo, Hippias, or Hippaspis, I should say. Nice, the Heracles. Playing a little game of stay away from my armor. I want to finish that one. And the Murmillo will be out of there. But Rhea's already on the way. Tunis is now getting himself his pickaxe. Don't think there's a huge amount of hero citizens in here either. There's 6. Left to Fire is not in yet either, so those aren't gathering super fast. And there goes the Heroic Ages for both players as the Behemoth will sit back. And, well, Grass has to make some decisions now as to what he wants to do. Full spam onto Hoplite. Full spam onto Hoplite Toxote. Hippaspis Toxote. Some Peltast. Some Hydra. You're playing against Trader. It feels bad for your Trader, your Hydra to get traded, which is, I think we saw this from the other day, where Magic actually deleted his Hydra to play away from it. But the other option is just to build so many myth units that one traded myth unit is actually good for you, because then your Hydra will just turn and smack them and get a whole bunch of veterancy for it. The sneakiest of sneaky behemoths. Around the side of the map, out of sight, out of mind. Grass sitting back. Upgrades coming through. Still lots and lots of villagers on golds here for Grass. I'm not sure what he's going to need all that for. It's the big question. Like, you don't have a big spend of gold unit. Like, you're not building you're not building Hippias. You're not building Minotaur. Maybe Minotaur wouldn't be a bad idea, though. As in come the Behemoth onto this side. Of course, there is a bolt available as the Hydra gets stolen away. And those heroes need to get on top of the Behemoth, but the Hydra also needs to get taken down. It's trying to take out a couple of units, so small amount of damage from Tunison. 2 heads for the Hydra, but that's going to be falling as it gets out of here. And, well, now you've got yourself an extra 3 minutes plus of no trader shenanigans. I'll still keep on dreaming for my Hydra spam from Grass, but I don't think it's going to be coming. I mean, it's just so... It's so painful to lose that one myth unit to trader. You just don't want to give your opponent any options, but that's the problem. That's the point. Give them more than enough options to spam the trader. Then all of a sudden they're spamming on wasted favor instead of just killing your myth units off with heroes. Into the main base now. Grass looking for some pressure. I mean, I think he could have waited on this. He's still got a little bit more population he needs to get in. Restoration is going to be available. We see the fanatics coming through from Tunison. I remember he did this versus the Mister and got absolutely shut down. But in this situation, it's looking much, much more clean. Restoration comes down. There's still a bronze to be dropped. But Grass feeling like he can just win the fight. Maybe he's right. He's at 4k versus 2.6k military differential. Arcus getting sniped as those are getting pulled in, but it looks like Tunison manages to hold here, and Grass needs to pull back. No bronze on that fight. Of course, waiting for 190 pop for your bronze is probably the way to go. Yeah, there are some idle shenanigans going on there for Grass. That's probably why his military looks so good on paper, but Tunison, these fanatics are amazing versus hoplites. They're not super great versus the Paspis, but versus hoplites, they're very, very good. Now, of course, if you build out Toxotes here, that'd be quite good versus the Fanatics, but we're not seeing that just yet from Grass. Fortress now up. Grass has to sit back, play defense for a little bit longer as the Contarius raids are going to be starting up. Lots of Arcus in the queue for Tunison. He might be looking for a Helios play here later for Halo of the Sun to boost up those Arcus. He doesn't have a huge amount of time to wait because, well, Zeus is going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as this game goes on. Cronus also has a lot of shenanigans that he can do, but we'll see how it ends up going as the Petropolis is now in. Of course, bronze is still available. Hoplites coming around onto this spot. They see the wall going up, but has not noticed just yet what's happening. Citizens over here are spotted. That's going to be one dead citizen. It's up onto the top side, trying to stop the town center as the military units coming through from Tunison. Grass does deny the town center. He doesn't really want to take the fight as the Petropolis goes down over here. 3 citizens were picked off by those hoplites as well. As in onto this side, Grass looking for potentially some more citizens to kill, but there are still units in from Tunison to defend. And Tunison's food, Tunison's gold is starting to skyrocket here. He wants a Mythic Age. Now, I have to guess it's going to be Atlas because it's so fast. But Helios is definitely another option here. Atlas to come in. I'm not surprised as the Arcus shoot and scoot back. There goes a trader onto the Petropolis to try and make things a little bit more tricky here. And of course, all Tunison wants to do is wait out this push until he has everything else. Deconstruction gets dropped down onto the fortress behind this as well. to deny everything. Can the Petropolis get the last shot off? Answer is no. 2 HP left on the Petropolis. Still means the same amount of DPS continues along. Town center coming back up for Tunison onto the top. Grass fighting valiantly here as the walls are up all over the place. Third town center coming down for Grass as well. So it's going to be a heroic age Zeus continuing along here. He's still got himself bronze. I don't really know what he was waiting for here, but a 235 pop bronze is still going to be a winning fight. That being said, Implode in hand, you can just hold on to Implode. And then bronze should never get dropped. That being said, if you do go bronze and then implode and then restoration, then you kind of undo the implode. Yeah, bronze doesn't do anything versus implode because all it does is reduce the vulnerability to hack and pierce and crush. Does not reduce the vulnerability to divine. Now Tunison moves forward. The one thing that he does get from Atlas to go with his Orichalcum male heavy fanatics is the Devotees of Atlas. Big upgrade for those fanatics. Helps them out a lot. And onto this side though, the hoplites coming through looking to take out that palace for the time being. Fanatics will break off. Not all of them, but some of them. Random hoplite onto this backside being very annoying from Grass. He is all over Tunison at the moment as the repairs try to come through. Can he get the wall up? He does start it. And the Fanatics are through to get some damage in underneath the palace as well to help out. The walls are up. Great move from Tunison there as he's charging forward onto this position. Grass has split up his army nicely to play around that implosion. But Heru is coming through. That's going to be a nice amount of damage to come in onto the Arcus and the rest of these units as well. Pretty good fight for the moment, though, from Tunison as he does decide to drop the implosion down onto this spot. Not going to get every village or every unit here, but gets a lot. The villagers die. Fortress is stopped. All of these buildings almost taken out. They're so close to dead. 20 HP, 60 HP, 60 HP. Huge amount of damage there as Tunison has hit a very big power spike. And Grass, he does have himself 86 villages and the fishing economy. But he needs some time to get himself back out an army. And come the units as the Argus vomit onto the ground there. Send the units packing a little bit. Of course, Lightning Storm will help out here for Grass to stabilize a little bit. More barracks coming up. Problem for Grass is he's got 9 military academies, 1 archery range, and not much wood at all. Now not restoration, but Lightning Storm gets dropped. These units are going to attempt to run, but they will all be falling here. That being said, after the Lightning Storm is finished, there's still a very large military advantage for Tunison. He's going to wander forward. Another palace. Gold mine checks. Looks like both players have still got access to all of their gold mines. There's only a total of 4 on the map. And Tunison, well, he's down to 3 left. This one on the top, halfway finished. So the markets will get dropped. And the fingernail still sitting there. It's the destroyers to come through. We still have a bronze here. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen. There's been no bronze getting dropped. There's been no bronze at all. So there's still a big power spike for Grass remaining as the Medusa gets traded. And he finally drops bronze. But this has to be too little too late. Tunison going to slice through everything. Got another palace coming up from Tunison up onto the top side. I don't know what Grass was thinking holding on to that gold power for that long. Especially after he was After, especially not being at population. Fanatics coming through, going to take out these units. Destroyer's going to take out the town center of Grass here as well. Metropolis getting its damage done. Town center gets denied. Arca's cleaning some things up. Palace up onto this side. There goes the flood control as well. Tunison going to continue the Palace gaming here. More Palaces means more Fanatics. And not only that, Siege will start to come through here as well. For Tunison to take out the fortresses of Grass. Now, Grass has grabbed himself a pretty quick upgrade. He's going to be getting those Champion Myrmidon through for free, which will help him stabilize a little bit. Now, imagine if he had Bronze now, it might be a different situation to push through all of this. I don't think the Bronze really helped him stay alive. But nonetheless, now he's going for it. Metropoli to push back, taking out the Palace on the back here. Grass still fighting. He's still in this game. You almost have to ignore the score to some degree. Let's stock take. Tunison, not yet at full iron. Has a little bit to go there. Grass getting himself iron weapons. So it's basically equal. The only thing that Tunison's got here as an advantage is the town center. But it's about to not just be a town center. It's about to be 2 town centers as the Destroyer's coming in onto Grass's back town center to take those out. That's why Grass is pushing back over here so well. And that town center drops so quickly. The Destroyers can probably go into the main town center as well. The Pacifist coming through. Taking out the Destroyers is going to be a nice revenge blow here. As the gold mine in the middle might get taken away. Villagers trying to take out the Fanatics. A little bit tough there. Is up onto this top position. Comes the Myrmidon. Comes everything else.
Lege.
Trader onto the Heliopolis. It's a lot of favor for that trader there. As the Heliopolis going to continue to come out. Of course, Grass trying to get his town center back up over here. And we do see the watchtowers starting to get time shifted through. Just deconstruction coming in. Can Grass hold here until he gets the population he needs? Another fortress up onto this side. Arca's frontlining is not something they're designed to do. You do not want to go for the Arca's frontline. Now we see advanced fortifications. The trade route has well and truly started. Only 52 gold though. It's not the best of trade routes. And what is Tunison attempting to do to finish this game off? Because Grass, he is climbing back here. Does he still not have fortified town centers? Is that the big thing he's missing? Yes. Missing that fortified town centers could be a very, very big problem here for Grass. He needs that technology very, very shortly. Bottom side here. Watchtower is in. It can get shanked down very, very quickly. Even with boiling oil. You do have to notice it though. 600 HP, and those villagers have got bonus damage onto them. Grass now has the resources for himself, for that fortified town center, but he is instead opting for Heliopolis. And I think Tunison is grinding him down here. 4 palaces up to the top. More palaces to come down. Still no advanced fortifications. An expensive technology. No frontline, actually, though, to take out the Heliopolis. So this does look like a good move from Grass. Random buildings down onto the bottom as well from Tunison as he's going to be hitting the trade route of Grass. And Grass will say in that moment that the game is done. It's a tough one. A tough pill to swallow here. I think he fought valiantly. There was an opportunity here to really make a push with bronze. He went off and split and tried to do a bunch of stuff like that, but I feel like he just needed to send it with this 190 pop army when he had a really big army here early on, like around about this time. A nice bronze and push could have been game changing for Grass. But Tunison, credit where credit's due, wins the game. He's now one win away, ladies and gentlemen. The only player who was not able to make the semi-final last week is one win from being the champion of playoff 2 of the road to Athens. Getting that ticket in. Let's jump back to the drafts, see what's going to happen. Alrighty. Another game, another you, another me. Tezcatlipoca is back on the menu. And it's going to be Ghost Lake. Grass has his pick for Ghost Lake. He's not trying to hide it. He says, I can take anyone. I can take anyone down with my Thor on Ghost Lake. Will he be able to take down the Tezcatlipoca of Tunison? Well, I don't know. I got no idea. I mean, actually, I think I have an idea of how Tunison likes to play this. He was quick on the War Hut spam train. Basically, it looks a lot like the Egyptians. It feels a lot like the Egyptians. It's strong like the Egyptians were as well. I would not be surprised to see Tunison going Malinal, Jochital, full spam on the War Hut shenanigans. That being said, Grass has also got a whole bunch of things that he can do to play around that. There's a couple of fun ideas. We'll see if it's going to happen. Let's jump in onto Ghost Lake. All right, ladies and gentlemen, game 5 on the way. One win, and Tunison is done. Grass still needs 3 more. Tunison is on Tezcatlipoca. Grass is on Thor. Grass opens up with the Dwarven Armory opening. And this will allow Tunison the early game advantage. Tunison decides to go in for the Kalpuli Lumber Outpost. He's skipping out on his next Kalpuli. I'm not sure if this is just to go straight for the craft workshop and save on the livestock pen for a little bit. I don't think it's really worth it to do that if you're gonna. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is worth it. I don't know. But this is not something that I've seen yet. Maybe someone else can tell me what's going on. Meanwhile, the Kimichin Spy coming through. Goes invis when it's close to the wood. If any unit gets close enough, it does reveal that unit. But it's nice to just sit in your opponent's base and see everything. Relics onto this side. We do have Sharon's Obel for the Villager Laborer, Gatherer, Kwafu, Commoner Miko, and Settler. Resources returned on death, etc., etc. Nice relic. Definitely a must grab. Arrows of Heracles here for the plus 5% of ranged soldiers and heroes. That's really nice. Especially for Tunison, who's already got some pretty strong ranged units in the Tequila Archer and the Eagle Warrior. Up to the top. Ship of Fingernails for some extra food to come through. And finally, we've got ourselves the Ehekela Kokozak. I tried. Units moving faster relic. 2.5 extra speed. Always nice. Temple coming through for Tunison. And temple coming through for grass. So it is a 2 gold mine Ghost Lake. So the problems of the grass build are felt a lot less than normal. What are those problems, you might ask? Well, the problems exist inside of the gold mine effectively being expired before you even hit the classical age. Like, you're going to be at 1500 gold 9 times out of 10 when you hit the classical age, maybe even less. Compare the amount of gold that grass is grabbed to the amount of gold that Tunison is grabbed. A very large difference. Nonetheless, Tunison had a bit of an issue killing off this boar, slaying it all the way out here. He still hasn't gone for the livestock penance. He is struggling on food, but he's got all the wood in the world here. I really don't like this build in the slightest from Tunison. And now he drops the Kalpuli. Don't like this build from Tunison at all. Thought there was something special coming up, but it's slower than the standard one, where you go for the Kalpuli Lumber Outpost, then you go for the Livestock Pen, then you go for the Kalpuli Craft Workshop. I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but he does do it. All right. Onto this side now. Grass going into his Hersa, and we will see the Forseti on the way too. I'm 1150. This is like my build. Sorry, guys. I can't let you get away with it. Doesn't make any sense. Warrior Priest over onto this side. Going to take out the grass house. We've got the other Warrior Priest coming in. Just trying to make sure that grass is a little bit in the dark here. Of course, Longhouse is coming down. Ursa getting spammed. Grass loves a good Ursa spammage. I've seen him do that time and time again, but I don't know how well it's going to work in this matchup. The other thing that's happened here is we haven't seen the Malinel Jochitel from Tunisia. He went Huehue Koyotl, which, I mean, to me is strange. So we'll see how that's going to go for him, but it looks like he might be doing some sort of pseudo-fast heroic here. As the troll on the top goes down, Ship of the Fingernails will be brought back home, and the house onto the bottom side is going to get picked off again. All the relics just getting dropped in. We got the Arrows of Heracles. We got the Ship of the Fingernails. And a town center for grass here as his option. Of course, if your opponent is going to turtle, grab town centers is fine. But I don't think Tunison is turtling here. He wants a heroic age. He's out onto his second hunt over here. He is making some units. I think he wants a heroic age as well for even more pressure. But is it worth it here? As the commission spy, gonna just make sure he knows what's going on. Sees the town center, and he will go down as Grass says, no. No spy for you. Get out of here. Koyol Jalqui is the god of choice. No surprises there for the Tezcatlipoca. You want that god for the Koyol Jalqui's stone to make your Great Temple units not cheaper, but their upgrades cheaper. That's the general desire, so to speak. Healing Spring comes down, gonna help out over onto this side as the wall's just going up everywhere for grass. Smoke Trap drop from Tunison. This basically just means if any unit wants to go over it, it is going to get slowed and lose some vision. It's not like the most important of traps. It's very, very cheap at 20 resources and just gives a little bit of vision around the map. You can see how much he gets, just a tiny bit. As the heroic age is now on, and Tunison is without question looking to be very, very aggressive here as the warrior priests get chased away by those Herser. They're currently at 4.9 speed because they picked up that I move fast relic. But the warrior priests of Tunison still have the movement speed advantage up until Hall of Thanes comes through. There's a Kimichin spy. Still charging around the map. Still trying to get things happening. I think he's just spammed these everywhere for the moment. As the Berserk's coming onto this side. Of course, the villagers will bail out on this one. Main base under attack as Tunison says, I just want goats. I want a cow pulley here. We'll eat the berries, and then we'll get onto the goats. That's fine. Back gold mine can also get eaten. Not a problem. Eaten? Mined? Whatever you want to call it. He has to move the... There he goes. I was about to say, he's got to move the livestock pen. Otherwise, I think he has to pay for a full price. You've already got one down, and then you build another one. You pay 50 wood. There goes the next age, and Koyal Zhaoqui's stone does get researched, as I have to imagine immediately a Great Temple is going to go down. He deletes the Kalpuli here to place the Great Temple down to secure his home gold mine. And Grass, for the moment, can't do a whole lot, but can go to the next age. And I want to see Bragi here. I say this every time, but I feel like it's falling on deaf ears. Bragi, Swineray, Herdman. Of course, you need the throwing axeman to deal with the Shorn one. Of course, you need to make yourself an answer for the Eagle Warriors as well in Cav. But Bragi has to be your best bet here. Up comes the Great Temple. So the stone is already grabbed, so you can see these upgrades. 75 for heavy Great Temple soldiers is incredibly cheap. It's normally 300, I think. The villagers getting sacrificed as well for some more upgrades as the Sensen Huitznahua comes through. Of course, there's going to be a whole bunch of those whatchamabuckets coming in. What are they called? The Titsamiddles. So getting that upgrade in straight away makes sense, but Grass, he is almost fully walled up. And we'll up onto this top side. Tunison will be spotting the Herser movement over here as the Star Demon sits in the middle. Needs to be quick to run. These guys are fast. 5.4 speed. And, well, now that is going... I think I've seen one too many times. Units just kind of missing stuff. Up onto the top side, though. Hillfort coming down. House over here gets taken down, and in comes the Heavy Jaguar Warriors, the Teponatsli Drums, and Tepiotls Reach. All of these technologies applying together to be an incredibly powerful Jaguar Rider. She's going to be looking for raids straight away. Shorn ones. All the other good stuff. And Heavy comes through as well for Grass. But Grass is on 2 TCs. He doesn't really have to do a whole lot here. He just has to sit back and defend. We'll see if he's going to manage to do that. Herdmen are coming through. He's only got 2 longhouses. The hard part about playing defense as Norse is not having the infrastructure to spend your resources. Because you're too busy fighting on the defense. You can't build those buildings. So one way to sort of go about it, is picking off some units into the middle of the map, is to always have a builder. Just one unit. Of course, these guys are building is fine, but just one unit. Just constantly throwing buildings down around the back of your base. So you can just keep getting infrastructure up. If you're on the defense. And in comes the Dwarven Mine. So the gold villagers here will be enjoying a pretty substantial boost to their gold gathering potential. from 1.08 to 1.35. Not a small amount. As the Tunisian army is ready to come in here, is looking very scary, but says, no, we'll go open the wall, move down to the bottom side, take out the temple, potentially also grab that relic as well. Not a bad idea. As watchtowers will come through, villagers into this position getting dove onto by those Jaguar riders as they're going to pop up onto the top side to eat those herdables. We do have these herdmen coming through as well as Tunison turns, ready to take the fight. Sean one's doing what they can, but there goes the frost. And immediately, Grass will drop down the wooden wall here. Now, of course, this makes it quite difficult for Tunison because he can't get his reinforcements in. But he does have a god power himself once he comes out of this frost. In fact, of course, he just wants to come in and beat this down, right? Picks off a couple units that are trying to come in from this side. And these are taunting smashes. They smash. So if he does need to retreat, which he doesn't, he can. But realistically, all he wants is a full-on attack here. Here comes the Starfall. And Grass, well, he garrisons out of there. And that's going to be a big amount of damage onto the town center. The Atontan Smasher takes down the watchtower. Grass in full retreat for the time being. It's 6.2k to 2.7k military differential here as the Tajipla gets converted in. Diving in onto those Frost Giants. And the town center goes down to the Atontan Smashers. The army of Grass is getting obliterated here. And I don't see it for Grass in this one as he taps out. And Tunison wins and is your second playoff champion. We will be seeing Tunison in Athens. Huge congratulations to him. What a incredibly well-played series from both. Well-played Dave from Tunison, only dropping one game throughout the entirety of today's proceedings. Just an insanely high level of performance from Tunison today. I'm looking forward to seeing him in Athens, and I don't know what else to say. Better luck next time for Grass. He's going to be pulling back up next week, trying his luck again. We're going to be seeing Magic going at it again, Soup going at it again. If we jump over to the bracket, we can talk about what actually happened. But that there is today. This week's tournament's done. So let's check out the bracket, talk it over. If it's updated, I don't know if it is, but let's check it out. Alrighty, so yeah, we'll be seeing Moscow again, Grass again, Soup again, Izamato again, Magic again, 3DB, Matador. Everyone's slowly starting to get a little bit more shenanigans cooking. Oh, well, all right, guys. I want to say thank you all for hanging out with me today. I'm going to work together the bracket for everything for next week. I am not here next week for the weekday. I have to go visit my grandma, my yaya. So I'm not here for the weekday. I will be here on the weekend for the round of 8 and the round of 4 and the round of 2. There are some other streamers to check out. We've got Motaba, we've got Soup, we've got Moose. They're going to be helping cover a whole bunch of stuff, as well as I'm sure as some other community streamers stepping up and watching those first round games. So make sure you're in my Discord so you can figure out all the updates. I'm going to be making posts on Reddit and things like that and trying to find people to cover the tournament. But that there is it for me today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Whistler Putchley Incarnate is here. The new fire ceremony does get dropped. Of course, B also sacked his own units, get himself out something, but there's 2 Tajiplas. Special attack coming in. It's a boost of damage for the Gardath army. As he's breaking through the center, there is still a pillar of Tlalocan to drop down. on this position to help be stabilized. But he's not doing it. And in comes it now, finally. There is the Ayatollah, but that does not have much HP left. Sitting underneath this could be very, very dangerous. The town center ends up falling. The Atonzan smashes will start coming in as well.